Hello, everyone, and welcome to this second part of our little two of episodes to congregate what's going to happen between the duo of teams. If you haven't watched the first part already with Eddie and see his fate, I'd recommend doing that. But yeah, no need for announcements, stuff like that. Let's get straight into the recap for our other group of investigators. So, Jean-Marie and Marsibil, you two, after the last couple of days, have been making your way and eventually found the Ouroboros Mount Resort in order to really investigate what's going on inside of there and get to the bottom of the mystery of this whole strange activity with these beings of out of this world proportions and natures that are very much eldritch. You guys made your way inside of the church itself, not a church, the actual resort itself after checking it out, and you made your way inside, finding the place rather deserted and abandoned, the wear and tear of the hotel having taken center stage compared to its once lush and beautiful nature. You guys found a notebook at the entrance that gave you guys the insight from somebody who used to work here, leading up to the days of the actual abandoning of the hotel and the Ouroboros Mount Massacre, where you guys found that it wasn't actually the owners that were responsible with this massacre itself, but more so the beings itself that you've been encountering ever since you guys started your adventures in the first place. As you passed this, you guys checked out the rest of the hotel to see what you could find. The most notable things of importance were a tablet that Marsibil picked up that seemed to have the very same rune of the circlet that was on fire with the raven engraved in the middle, as well as a notebook by a hiker that you guys found, giving the other perspective, as well as explaining about the more cult-like aspect of it, where people were chanting, and just the very gross nature of these cultists and these guard dogs that you guys have also noticed, that are these meshes of humanoids and human people that are just like stitched together and give out these terrible low moans as they were searching for you guys. Luckily, you were able to evade them, and as you were making your way to a staircase in order to make your way to the third floor, where it seems that the room of the owners of the resort seem to have the most important details of your investigation, you found a butcher that was kind of like one of these guard dogs, but still retaining some of their sanity. And inside one of the many moushes of corpses that you guys were hiding in, you found Adrien, which was weird knowing that you just saw him leave just a couple hours ago, or actually just yesterday even. And you guys found out after Marsibil, you casted a spell onto this butcher, and Eddie has killed it with its knife, picking up its cleaver in order to replace the broken knife itself. That this Adrien is the true Adrien, while the other Adrien was a fake, following you guys the whole time, and probably someone from this cult as well. You guys eventually made your way up, and on the other side of this hallway that was leading up to the owners of the resort's room, you guys found a rather decently large congregation of people that were praising the name of Yathuital and just praising the eradication of multiple types of things that they found was corrupt. Basically anything and everything, from something you can kind of understand to just the most batshit stupid thing. And eventually, the person that you were looking for this whole time, Isaiah Jericho Doe, that you've could guess that has become a high-ranking member of this cult, urged them to make their way through a small portal that was made from an obelisk that they were praising to. And through that obelisk, they teleported themselves to this game that you've been kind of hearing about, this ritual that is called the Succumbing of Yathuital. As this happened, both of you watched as Eddie spoke to Isaiah for a small period of time, before coming back with Adrien, both of them being branded with a symbol on their forehead. Eddie offered to also get both of you guys branded as well from Isaiah to make sure that getting your way to the lost city of Omrad, where this game was taking place, would be smooth sailings. However, not wanting to be branded on the forehead and also not wanting to have to deal with the repercussions of that and just in general being forced into the game, both of you denied. And made it so that when Isaiah was escorting you guys through the opening of this big door that was inside the owner's walls, that you opened up, Marsibil, with the token that you found, you guys eventually made your way through and found this lost city with architecture and materials not like anything you've ever seen, with the very look of it kind of looking like a warped version of a Dr. Seuss village. And as Isaiah took Eddie and Adrien away, he left both of you behind in order to find your own way to the city, or try to find your way through and see what you can do to find out about the cult and maybe try to usurp it from the inside. His motivations for letting both of you go is unclear, but you two are both still here overlooking the lost city. You have different paths that are winding and kind of all around you. There's currently one passage to the east and to the west being where you guys were coming from, and one to the south. And you guys can see that from the way that these tunnels are intertwined, it's kind of like an ant's nest where it feels like these tunnels are digged in different proportions and sizes, and that they kind of lead a little bit everywhere. What do you two want to do?
Sorry.
You're good.
The Minecraft villager noises. They follow me.
You can't escape.
That's a good question.
Sure, what's up?
Oh, not a question for you, but
Okay.
just a thought.
Sure, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine this place is going to be kind of like a maze to sort of
Indeed.
like make my way through. I think what Marsibil is thinking of right now and trying to figure out is the thing about these sorts of structures is that having all these different pathways and stuff, there has to be at least one path that leads downwards. Because, what am I getting at? I totally just lost my train of thought. Oh my god.
You're good.
I lost
I get
the sentence.
You're completely fine. Don't worry about it. I think what I from what I was getting where you're going from is that like knowing that like an ant's maze, like an ant's nest, like there's a lot of paths that like you can easily get lost into, but there's always like it's always going to form into one.
There has to be a way to navigate this without any like prior knowledge.
Exactly.
Possibly. Because I mean, creatures of any design, human or otherwise, every direction or every like pathway has a purpose, and there has to be, out of all of these paths, one that leads further to the destination. So I think what Marsibil's trying to do is basically like maybe try and look for any foot traffic, or if there's any signs of any traffic going like anywhere between the different pathways, I think.
What's the floor made of?
The floor is made of this mix of gravel and this very same rock that you notice on the buildings themselves. It kind of has like the same texture and look as marble, but more of like the white is replaced with this dark purple and the white is replaced with black. and the veins themselves of this like marble-like metal rock is kind of like twirling around here and there. But with the way that you're looking at the ground, Marsibil, I will say that you do see that there are actually some footprints and some foot activity coming from certain directions, and the one that is currently leading towards the most activity, as you can see, would be going south.
Okay, then I'll say Marsibil will kind of just look to Jean-Marie and just say, I believe we should go this way.
All right.
Just stay close by me.
Got it.
All right. In that case, as you guys are making your way through these tunnels, you can definitely tell that the way that these people have carved it out, it's kind of similar to mines and tunnels that you've seen before, but like mentioned before, the way that it's formed out is just very odd sometimes, and you can see that like there's holes in places where you can imagine that certain members of the cult would go through, but that physically there's no logical way where you would make your way through there. Like there would be a hole like very close to like the ceiling that you would not imagine anybody would be able to climb through without like very specific gear and other details like that. And as you make your way through, I need both of you to roll me a stealth check.
Okay.
And since you guys are starting basically like close to the last session, I'm gonna give both of you guys 30 luck points back.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Of course.
I need a my sheet open. Okay. Yeah, thank God. Okay. Here's my. Here we go.
How many, sorry?
30 luck points.
Hold up. Just getting my dice.
You are good.
Here's the one that goes to the set. Whatever. I'm just going to use both of these.
Oh, where did I put my character sheet? I can't find it. That's not great.
You're good. I can send it to in the silent mic if you want.
Give me a second.
Oh, there it was. I don't know where that other one was at.
Yeah, it's not. I can't. It's usually in my downloads. If you could send it, that'd be great.
I already sent it in silent mic.
There it is. Okay, no, it's because it had the fucking Google icon instead of the PDF.
Oh,
icon.
gotcha.
Jesus. I got scared there for a second because I've been cleaning up my downloads folder. I was like, did I delete it?
Oh. Well, hey, you did.
There you go.
Thank God.
And now hopefully you'll be able to roll under a 35.
Okay.
All right, now I found both pairs. I'm gonna actually roll now. Okay. I'm going to use 10 luck points on that.
All right. Sounds good. What about you, Jean-Marie?
Give me 1 second. I am terribly sorry.
All right.
That is not the right character sheet. Okay, Okay, no, I'm rolling on Alistair's character sheet real quick. Sorry.
You're good.
I opened the wrong one. What was the roll again?
You have to roll stealth. So you have to roll under a 35.
Gotcha.
Hey, fuck yeah.
Very good.
All right. So a normal success and a crit. All right. I'll say both of you are kind of trudging your way through this the southern part of this path that you're going through, and as you're making your way through, you start hearing some sort of activity making its way, and immediately both of you dart, and um, as you go ahead to hide, Jean-Marie, you actually kind of pull Marsibil closer towards you just to get like a better like coverage from the shadow from this kind of like slowly coming forth illumination light, tugging her closely towards your chest. And as both of you kind of look down into this cave that is coming up, you see three individuals making their way up. Uh, One that has its spine that is kind of like curved to the side to the point it's kind of like an N shape. One that has multiple eyeballs and arms in just mounts of limbs that you just find is completely unnecessary. And one that seems like their hair is kind of like flowing and floating in the air, and that sometimes seems to kind of have like these tiny little eyeballs on them, as it seems that the three of them are talking in a mix of a strange language that you don't understand and kind of English. And actually, thinking about it, because I think it would be a fun role, uh, Marsibil, I'll say that you notice the dialect itself that they're speaking for this language that you don't immediately recognize. Half of it is kind of familiar to the Icelandic alphabet. So
Mm,
if you want, I could ask you to roll a check for me, and if you succeed, you could potentially quickly like translate some of this very dialect that they're kind of like using, and translate it to like something that you're more familiar with in Icelandic.
okay. No.
Very fair. All right. In that case, I'll say that as they're passing by, you kind of hear like a couple words being said through some of them. Just seemingly talking about something in particular relating to the succumbing at Yathawithal. But out of like all like this quick dialogue that you're hearing, the one thing you that like kind of like is picked up the most in English words is let me just check in my notes. Um, you kind of hear like them muster up like a like this sentence where it's like they mention the keywords of concern, Arnak, trader.
Mm.
And you can see that as the word Arnak is mentioned, the other two kind of seem to be like concerned, or at the very least like in thought about it before you watch the three of them pass by and make their way up in the direction that you guys were passing.
Mm. Okay.
All right. Do you guys want to keep making your way down? Do you want to try diverging the path? What do you guys want to do?
Uh,
I mean, hasn't, I mean, we can keep going. I don't think splitting off now would, you know, be too wise. It's working for us
yeah.
right now, so.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In that case, I'll say you guys keep going down the same path using the stealth check that you guys have used to hide away. You cling to the shadows, making sure to avoid any source of this very like faded purple light that you can see emanating from some of these rocks. Not enough to get perfectly clear vision, but enough that you can discern shapes and particular patterns showing like what's an entryway, what's an entry we can't access, what's a wall, etc. And by paying attention to the actual soil itself, and the increments of where it's normal rock and gravel, and the actual like following of where there's prints in the gravel itself. You continue down this pathway for, I'd say, roughly the next 30 or so minutes. As you do so, you eventually have to be a bit more sneaky here and there, as there is much more activity coming around in certain parts where you guys can see that amidst these open crevices where nothing is in there are certain ones that have activity. Some of them are these very same cultists, like you saw before, preaching and praying to eradicate a certain corruption of some kind. And sometimes it's just these cultists wearing these very familiar robes, or it'll be a bunch of cultists worshiping one of these very same corrupted beings, the likes of which Jean-Marie, at some point, you recognize one of them, making your way down as the very same one that seems to be like not physical, and more so like this patch of flesh at the back of this chamber, which has just multiple eyes just kind of like darting around rapidly, that you can recognize as that very same being that told you that your husband was down here and that tormented you. And alongside that, you also see at certain moments other people that pass by, more similar to that of the three that passed earlier, that are physically changed, but not to the point of being like the Mensa or this being of multiple eyes, and just more being like these physically disfigured people, just observing and seemingly giving orders to the more broken down and corrupt looking beings that just immediately skitter away at their command. Eventually, as you continue onwards, unless you decide to stop at any point and observe or anything like that, you make your way down eventually to the bottom, where as you do so, you see a large wall of coagulated blood and flesh and bone. It is rather large. I would say roughly around 20 feet by 20 feet, having a sort of 20 feet diameter. And you can see that it's a mixture of flesh that has been there for a very long time and that has decomposed, and flesh that you can tell was just made and added not even a couple of minutes ago. As you see this, you can also see that there's also some runes to the left of the door. Do you guys approach them?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I'll say that you guys approach these runes in order to see what their deal is. As you do so, you can see that they're the very same runes that are used in fuck this. What? I had it on the tip of my tongue and I immediately forgot it. Hard, what's that one like rune language that you were talking about the other day that you were studying?
I mean, there's several. I mean, there's the Anglo-Saxon runic alphabet. There's the Elder Futhark. There's Younger Futhark. I think the one I talked to you about in particular was Anglo-Saxon.
Right. All right. Yeah, it was Anglo-Saxon. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You give a good look at this, and it seems to be like a mix of Anglo-Saxon and Icelandic that is mixed between the two in order to form out this saying that Marsibil, you can roughly translate to initiate the game. one must offer themselves up to the mass in honor of Yetuital.
Okay. I don't like that. Mm. It says to play the game, we have to submit to this thing.
I mean, are we playing the game? If we wanted to be a player, we could have just gotten the mark earlier.
Yes. But I'm not playing any sorts of games.
Neither am I. Don't worry.
Good. Well. Think we're gonna probably have to maybe find another way, or.
I will say that amongst the people that are in here, you also notice that it's not entirely just these people that were branded in order to play the game, but also cultists that you've seen have died and have been forced into the wall itself. It seems that the way that this text is indicating it is that it doesn't just have to be people that are sacrificed. Could be by other means.
Okay. Oh God, what kind of sacrifice? Something precious, maybe?
You can certainly try.
Okay. I think what Marsibil is going to do is she's going to fuck. What to give away? What to give away? That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if she has something on her person.
I may have something, but sacrificing it feels like a bad omen. I have my wedding ring.
Ugh. Yeah. Throw that bond.
Like, there's no way I sacrifice the wedding ring and my husband makes it out alive.
Yeah. It's like your husband is now forfeit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could it be anything?
Could be. The way that there's these amalgamations of these people is that it feels like an accumulation of things that have been offered up and sacrificed. Most times out of not, there are human parts in it, but for the most part, it's mostly just coagulated blood. Some of it fresh, some of it not, and you can tell that there are certain parts of the blood that is fresh, that is definitely human, just normal red crimson. Other parts, not so. You see sometimes this blood that you can imagine being a bit more of the unique side, kind of bubbles a little bit, very gently here and there, seemingly still alive.
Get a corpse Do you think we can get a corpse from the butchers?
You could.
It's a long trek, though.
Yeah, we have to
That-
go all that way back.
Can I
also
sacrifice
saw
my
a bunch-
dignity? I still have that map of Europe.
You could, or you did definitely see a bunch of cultists and other people that were up, and you know that, like, especially these lower parts of in front of this door are more active.
Mm-hmm.
If you're lucky, you could try to find a cultist that is a bit less, like, surrounded by people or even alone. Try to kill them and maybe offer them up.
Yeah, I mean, that could work. That could work, yeah. Okay, I think Marsibil might do that.
All right. In that case, Jean-Marie, do you follow?
No, I don't. He feels conflicted about human sacrifice. She's gonna stay near the pile.
Mm-hmm. Marsibil, I'll say you notice that as Jean-Marie does not budge.
It's okay. These people have forfeited their lives. The guilt does not weigh as heavy on my heart, but I understand your decision.
Yeah, stay safe. If you need me, just yeah.
I will.
Right. I'll get to you first, Marsibil, and then I'll come back to you, Jean-Marie, and we'll get back to you. You two both back together afterwards. Marsibil,
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
you make your way back up, making your way through these caverns. What kind of room are you looking for? Are you looking for quarters, a ritual hall, something a bit more unique?
Quarters.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that it doesn't take you long. You check through a couple of these rooms that are made by the cult itself, with beds and where you can assume to be beds, just laying strewn here and there. A lot of these times there are like a bunch of cultists just together. Some of them chatting, some of them praying, some of them arguing about what is corruption. But eventually you do find one room that seems to be particularly good.
Mm-hmm.
You look inside and you see what seems to be some sort of like makeshift library. There's books and scrolls and other sorts of objects that seem to be made for reading and writing that are just kind of in place in piles or just ordered in ways that just hurts the scholar in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And launched just in the middle of this room is a lone figure just reading through the pages of this one book.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What would you like to do?
I want to try and make this as quick
Mm-hmm.
as possible. Painless, maybe, if I can. No
Mhm.
guarantees, but I'll say Marsibil is going to try and snap the neck. I think that's going to be her move.
Gotcha. right. In this case, since you are stealthing and you are approaching this creature from this creature from behind, as it does not seem to have noticed you, roll me a fighting brawl check with advantage.
All right. Okay, that's good. Good thing it was at good thing it was at advantage. The other roll was 99.
Yeah.
But the other roll that I got was 18.
18. All right.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, in unswept motion, you approach behind this being as they are reading this book, and without any problem, you do it like when you were first starting out, like catching prey. You once you got them right in your vicinity, you go behind this creature and with just fluid motion, you grab both the jaw and the back of the head, and in just one big, you snap the neck real quick before anything could be done. And as you do so, any sort of resistance that they were about to use on you just falls as their arms limp, and you can feel any warmth that was in their body is now gone.
Right. I'll say Marsibil is going to let me see. She's not going to take the whole body because that would be very sluggish. But what do you think? Okay. Marsibil is going to question GM.
Yep.
Does this creature have eyes?
You can definitely see what was under their hood.
All right. Do they have eyes under the hood?
All right. I'll say you remove the hood in order to see their face, and yeah, you see on their face was what used to be an eye. Definitely, that used to be in the left socket that you see has been torn out. From the way that the blood. Oh, sorry, Mario, I forgot to mention eye trauma. But yeah, you.
My apologies in advance.
You're good. But yeah, basically from what you see, there definitely used to be an eye in one of their sockets, but it seems to have been ripped out recently, whilst the other eye is still there. And from the way that you can see on the pages and stuff where their eyeball used to be, the pages themselves of this book seem to be a little bit bloodstained, as if this person made some pact with this book in order to get something more.
Okay. Question: what eye is left?
The right one.
Okay. Marsibil is going to take the right eye.
Okay.
And just in case, this thing have any teeth by any chance?
Yeah, I'll say that, like, the way you're looking at this guy, it seems to have been a cultist that was like slowly making their ways to start being more devout and transforming. And you can see where usually their mouth is. It seems that the smile is kind of like jagged, and opening it up, it seems like they had like multiple rows of teeth, like that of a shark.
Okay. Marsibil is going to take one of the teeth. Just one.
Okay.
Just
All
as
right.
a little something for Jean-Marie, just in case.
All right. And do you take out this eye with the tooth itself, or do you just like pluck it out with your fingers?
No, do it with fingers.
Gotcha. In that case, I'll be quick about the description. You take a tooth out. Takes a little bit of rooting around in there, but eventually you get it out. And as for the eyeball, I'll describe it real quick. You just go in it with your fingers and
Yep.
take it out.
All right, cool.
All right. Yeah. You now have an eyeball and a tooth in your inventory.
Okay, cool. I will go back to Jean-Marie.
All right. Meanwhile, Jean-Marie, I'll say that while you were waiting, in this short period of time, what are you up to?
In one hand, I'm holding my gun because I don't like being alone in the fucking haunted hotel thing. And with the other hand, I think I'm gonna take out my necklace from under my shirt, the one that's holding my wedding ring, and just fiddle with it a bit, because I think she also considered making that sacrifice, but she came to the same conclusion as I did, that there's no way in hell she throws the wedding ring and her husband comes out of this one. And also just, I feel like there's a bit of just thinking about it. They're gonna reunite soon if everything goes well.
Sure. I'll say that you do this, and as you're fidgeting around with this ring, I need you to make me a quick sanity check.
Sure. Give me a second. Not so lucky this time. Okay, 1+. I don't have enough. Do I want to waste luck points on that? I don't. 87, that's about.
Alright, 87. As you're fidgeting with this ring, just trying to forget about the stress you're going through and hoping that eventually Marsibil comes back soon, you get the feeling that you're being watched.
I'll hide the ring. Sorry.
No, that's okay. You immediately hide the ring in your pocket, and it doesn't feel like you're being observed by anyone that has spotted you, but more so just this uneasy feeling that something is not right. And I'll say that you hear a little bit of a coming from what seems to be the gate. Do you look?
I think while she has figured it out that sometimes it's better to not look, it's the instinct. Yeah, immediately gripping her gun tight. Her eyes dart over to the gate.
I'll say you do so, and as your eyes dart out of instinct, holding the gun tightly around your hands and putting a finger very close to the trigger at any point if need be, you look to your left, and where there was once a normal-looking body that did not have any signification to you, you now see that very same hiker that you watched die of a heart attack a couple days ago, just pale and gross and looking like he's been decomposing for 5 days, is just looking at you and just giving these horrible breaths and moans at you, and looking at you in the eyes, not blinking a single moment. You take 4 sanity damage.
And I think we may be stuck in that staring contest until Marcy comes back.
Mm-hmm. You just keep tracing your gaze on it, just thinking about... Huh?
How much did I take again, sorry?
4 sanity damage. Sorry. You just keep your eyes on this guy, just thinking about the day that you saw him just die in front of you and the eyeballs all over his body, and just the terrible look he had moments ago before dying, as you feel a hand on your shoulder, and you immediately look around, holding the gun tightly to your chest as you turn around and you see Marsibil looking back at you.
Marcy.
Marcy?
Damn, I forgot I was muted. Sorry.
You're good.
Yeah. Marsibil just says, "Are you okay?"
Yeah. Oh, I'm fine. Did you? What do we need?
Yes. Yes. Do you?
Huh? Sorry?
Did you get something?
Oh, no, I don't know what I...
If you don't...
Sorry, I sort of assumed one body would be enough for the both of us.
Well, I got you something, in case, here. And she just, like, holds out the tooth.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Alright.
Also,
Take it with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I was mistaken. The right eye was the correct eye. Thank you, Uncle.
Of course.
So.
But yeah, you give Jean-Marie the eye, and you now have... No, not the eye. You give Jean-Marie the tooth.
The tooth. The tooth.
The tooth.
Yeah.
And you hold the removed eyeball in your hand. What do you do?
I don't know. Hold it in front of the runes. Hope it does something.
Alright. I'll say that you make the eye approach the runes themselves, see if there's any sort of reaction from it. And you watch as it doesn't seem to immediately react from it, but you feel a certain warmth in your hand, as it seems to be kind of coming from the wall itself, beckoning something be placed in it.
Okay. I'll put it in.
Alright. You place the eyeball in, and almost instantly as you do so, you pull your hand away, and you watch as the wall of coagulated bloods and flesh immediately falls, making this terrible pool of blood around your feet. And you see that the way is open in front of you to make your way into the lost city of Omrad.
Sweet.
You make your way inside, and as you do so, the wall itself almost immediately coagulates itself back up and forms back to what it used to be. And you guys are now in the city. To give you guys a bit of a perspective of where exactly you are, you guys are basically in the west part of the city, and it's separated off into 4 parts. The main outline of what it looks like is that it looks like a giant bird has been outlined to form where these buildings are placed. So you guys are currently in the west wing, and there's also the east wing, the beak, where it's basically the head, and the plumes, so at the bottom of the feathers.
Okay.
Where would you guys want to investigate first? You currently have, so far, this site of many buildings in front of you. Some of them kind of mixing into one another. Some of them being very like alone in certain spots, and just it kind of brings you back to New York, but incredibly more disorganized. Yet the materials are all the same. And as you guys have made your way inside, the first thing you do definitely hear is the sound of what seems to be people screaming and fighting.
Okay. All right. I mean, you see the commotions about?
You definitely can. Jean-Marie, do you want to also go check?
Yeah, but let's try to stay unspotted.
Yeah.
All right. Keeping your stealth check from earlier, you guys make your way through, following intertwining paths and roads in order to find your way. And as you approach closer and closer to the sound, you see a very ungodly sight. You see what seems to be the aftermath from some sort of fight, as there seems to be two people that kind of have the same clothes of the era and stuff that you've seen close to more the American clothing you've seen from people the last couple. Well, at the beginning of your investigation, Marsibil, as you see two of those types of people dead on the ground with different types of injuries, but two other individuals. One that seems to be more of like kind of like an aristocratic era person, like that was from the Renaissance, just dead on the floor, with their robes themselves being just completely torn apart. And somebody that seems to be wearing studded letters from what you can imagine being the medieval era, fighting with all the energy they have left against multiple cultists that are trying to fight them. And what you can definitely see as the sight of some sort of great spider mixed with a centipede, just kind of like paying attention to the fight and hearing something else and immediately making its way in direction of that, kind of like a wolf spotting a rabbit and stalking it. Do you guys want to pay more attention to the fight itself or to where this strange creature is going?
I mean, I guess like, what do you think?
I don't know.
I mean, we can try and follow the creature, maybe. See
Yeah,
what's
sure.
going on. So, yeah.
All right. I'll say
If
that
Jean-Marie is forced to make a single decision of her own, she might collapse and die. Sorry.
That's okay.
Jean-Marie like, both of these options are fucked. I don't want to participate.
Yeah, everything sucks here. There's no good options ever.
I guess I gotta find the slightly good option in one of these. But yeah, no, I absolutely get you. It sucks here. Y'all thought you couldn't have shit in Detroit. Now you can't have shit in Omrad.
Was there anything to begin with? Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, honestly, not really.
Yeah. So, This isn't like prime real estate material. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you can't fix any of these homes. These homes are long gone.
Yeah, fuck that.
All right. I'll say both of you ignore following this checking out the rest of this fight. As you can see that whatever rest there was to begin with, you can imagine, unfortunately, for this last contestant, they're a lost cause. And it's not long afterwards that you're starting following this thing that you hear the sound of fractured bones and blood being splattered. You make your way following this thing, and since you guys are going to be tailing this thing straight from behind, actually, I would ask you guys to roll a stealth check, but actually no, roll me a stealth check.
All right.
That 27.
27.
Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding.
Oh no.
92.
Oh no. All right.
All right. Well, it was nice knowing y'all.
Mm-hmm. You two make your way through, following this creature's this creature's path as it as you continue to make your way through, you don't notice that this thing seems to be focused on you, even if in the very moment you guys are kind of like trying to sneak through, you feel sometimes a bit like off your step. No, it's more at some point where you hear, like, you watch it as it eventually stops, and you immediately like brace for impact, preparing for the results of feeling like you've been spotted. And you watch as it breaks into a sprint. Multiple legs, like their legs that you've noticed now are very much like needles, just pincing through the rock and breaking it. You hear it immediately go faster, and you brace for impact for it to come towards you, but you notice that it seems to go in the opposite direction of you. As you hear a scream coming from the north and hiding away, trying to not get noticed. You wait, just trying to remain hidden, and you eventually hear the sound of what seems to be Adrien screaming, and eventually you hear the come making its way back closer as you watch as this thing goes backwards and drags Adrien on the floor, having stabbed him twice, and him screaming bloody murder as he's running away. And you watch as he screams out to you, Marsibil, in just a huge panic. And you watch as the Mensa stops and just here. Oh, I'm gonna have fun hunting you two later. But first, little Adrien. And one of the feet, like the needles, just immediately grabs underneath his neck, and you watch that the blade itself of the foot itself is right there, just barely on the brink of like bleeding a little bit, and she looks back at you two and goes, "If you find Mr. Matthews, send him a message to me." As she raises the foot itself and stabs it through his head, and it goes all through his body, and you watch as the paw reaches through the other side where his ass is, and you see just she raises the paw the foot, and his back and like the flesh part of his back is just rips in two, and blood scourges everywhere, kind of like opening up like a ripe tomato, like with your hands, and you watch as like the blood goes everywhere, and she looks back at both of you. Tell him that his boyfriend is long gone. That sounds good. Does that sound great?
Not answering her.
No. I'm not saying shit.
Mm-hmm.
Who could expect silence? I'm not saying shit.
Mm-hmm. She just watches as both of you are in silence, looking at her, and goes, "Good. I always like when they play the silent game. I'll see the three of you later." And she watches. She immediately starts scurrying back, taking one of her feet and stabbing it into the ankle of what used to be Adrien, as his body is dragged, just watching just bloody gore just like falling bits and pieces here and there as the street is tainted in his blood.
Okay.
We should make a run for it, I think.
Yeah.
All right. I'll say that both of you start immediately running, not paying attention to any sort of sneakiness at this point, and more than fair to do so. Where you guys head to? Do you head to the other wing, the beak, or the plumes?
Fuck, man.
Or do you want me to just choose for you guys, since you guys are just trying to run away in any direction?
Beak.
Beak, yeah. Feels.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'll say that you guys start making your way towards the beak, just running and running and running, and making sure not to look back. And as you are making your way towards the beak, I'll say that you guys are running, and eventually you hear some sort of like clinging coming from an alleyway. Do you guys stop to see, or do you just keep going?
I want to stop, but like few seconds just to glance at it and then keep bolting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I'll say that you guys actually, I'll say, Jean-Marie, you look in the direction real quick just to see what you can find. And for a short minute, you see what seems to be a face looking back at you from the darkness. What seems to be a normal face, but of a contestant, but their eyes are like a mad dog affected by rabies, just looking bloody murder at you. And from them you hear a "Ahoy, hoy, hoy." Did
I think the
just
second I
run
see a face, I keep running, actually.
All right. And you hear behind you, "Run, run, run, little droogie."
What did he say? What did he say?
I have no idea we are leaving.
All right, you guys are running. We're gonna actually do our first chase of our game.
All right.
So, how this works is that it's very much similar to combat in the game. I'm looking at Silent Mike. Okay. I'll definitely say, I don't want to mention what it is a reference to, but it is not a slur. It is a reference to a movie.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, it's just funny.
But if you want to, if you want to know it, for the sake of it,
No.
Yeah, it
Fine,
is a scene.
it's a movie reference.
We're good.
Sorry. But yeah, you guys start running. I'm going to check your guys' dex scores real quick. Alright, Marsibil, you have a 75. Jean-Marie, you have a 55. Let me see what a contestant's dex score would be. Otherwise, I'll just make something up. Yeah. Yeah, I can't find it, so I'm just gonna make something up. Okay. Alright. How this works is that instead of basically doing like stuff in order to do combat, you're basically trying to just evade these people as fast as possible. Oh, I was about to say, do I have to censor that? Alright, yeah, no problem. But yeah, you guys basically have to find a way to escape. So basically, anytime you're doing your action, you can use your move action in order to move the distance that you can, and you can choose your action to do anything, whether that be dashing, whether that be like if there's like debris, you can try throwing it down. You can try looking behind you and shooting. Anything that would help you to get away from your pursuers.
Okay.
And so, following from the stats of like who has the highest dex, Marsibil, you're going first.
All right.
I'll say that you look behind you, and as you're running, you see coming out 4 people actually. These contestants that are all wearing like these really weird attires of clothing that they made out of like other pieces of clothing. It kind of like seems that like out of all of them, the one that's the most bizarre is the one that kind of has like a weird like hat that you can imagine is trying to be like some sort of bowler hat, and an attire that's supposed to be like all white with suspenders or something like that.
Okay.
And these other people just like wearing exactly just weird attires. What would you like to do on top of doing your movement?
Shoot!
All right. I need you to roll me a firearms then.
All right, I will do that.
Do they have guns, visibly?
From what you can tell, not so.
Hey, Uncle!
Yeah, what's up?
That's a 5!
Oh, shit!
Woo!
All right. Yeah, that definitely hits. Roll your damage.
Alright, I need to remember what the damage was for that.
I think for your gun, following like my remembrance of it, I think it's like 1d8.
Right. Okay. Yes. Get my D8 out. Okay, 3 damage.
3 damage. I'll say that's enough so that as you're running, you look around and immediately like take out your gun and shoot back, and you watch as like the bullet itself seems to hit right in the knee of one of the people pursuing you, and you watch as like as they take the bullet, they immediately fall back down onto the ground, like rolling a couple of it, and you hear them go, "Oh fucking hell!" Oh! As you see that your amount of total pursuers right now went from 4 to 3.
Okay, cool.
Is that going to be the end of your turn?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, I'm moving as well, so.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Then.
All right.
There you go.
Perfect. In that case, Jean-Marie, you're going up next.
Yay. Yeah, I'm also gonna try to shoot.
All right.
Oh, wait. When I... Hold on.
I mean, you're also in a situation where you're being chased by 3 people in an environment you're not used to, and you're very much stressed.
I was gonna follow I almost called her Marsibil's lead. But first I want to check. Do I see any monster creature thing around anywhere?
Roll me a spot hidden. Also, I just want to ask you, this is basically going to be your action for this turn alongside like your movement and stuff. So you're sure you want to do this?
No. In that case, no, I'm
Mhm.
shooting.
All right. In that case, roll for your firearms attack.
What was my fire? 20. Yeah, that fails. That's a 56.
56. You also pull out your gun, turn around and fire, but you watch as the bullet itself. You're kind of panicking at this point, and it's hard to really aim at somebody and like shoot behind you. And you shoot out, and you watch the bullet just kind of split down into the soil itself and just crash into the rock as these people are still, the three of them are still chasing out after you. For this small crowd of contestants, the three of them are going to use their action to dash, and instead of doing the usual 6, they're going to do 12. And you watch as, like, after losing their friend, the three of them just keep going, like, not even focused on their safety, just focus on murder. And they're starting to get to the point where they're just like maybe like 10 to 15 feet from you guys, but they can't hit you guys since the only things they have are melee weapons, like what seems to be like sharpened rocks that they've taken out from the buildings, or what seems to be like some sort of mallet they made out of like debris from a building as they're chasing
long,
after you.
though.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's go back to the top. Marsibil, what are you doing?
Okay.
I'll say that as you're running your way through here, in your immediate vicinity, you see an alleyway that leads to your right. That seems to be like kind of making its way more into the direction of the east wing. That seems kind of tight. If you made your way there, you might have a chance to maybe shake them off. Otherwise, you could also use your action to just keep dashing in this main road to still have like sight of the environment around you. Or you can also shoot or find something else creative to do.
Okay. I'm thinking maybe. Okay. So ahead of me, there's like an entrance on the right, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything like past that that's going further like down, pretty much?
From the way that you're looking at it, it definitely seems like it's a very long alleyway. These buildings themselves don't really have like the concept of alleyways themselves, and it seems just that they're placed randomly. But the fact that these buildings are kind of like conjoined to one another, you can probably use that to your advantage to use either cover or hiding spots, something like that.
Is there anything we might be able to knock down? Like just
We're
to,
knocking
like,
down a bullet. We're fighting.
You definitely can. I'll say looking at these buildings themselves and looking at the weapons that these people are using, you can tell that the rock itself, just from like thinking about it on the spot, if it's able to be like sharpened and like used as like a mallet and stuff like that and be broken off, and that you see like the rubble here and there, you can imagine that it's durable, yes, but not incredibly. Like if you found a right amount of force or did a well placed shot, you might be able to break down a certain part of a building, depending if you like shoot at the right spot.
Okay. I could. My whole idea was to try and make an obstacle, basically.
Okay.
So, but I want to make sure that the obstacle is behind me when it happens.
Sure. If you want, what we can do is that, like D&D, you can hold your. I'll say you can hold your action, and you can make your way through one of these alleyways, and like you can hold your action and just like try to like observe like immediately like where there could be a good place that you can like interact with to bring down some rubble or something like that to block the people chasing you. And when, say, it'll be like Jean-Marie's turn or the turn of your pursuers, you can then activate your action and then try to bring that thing down.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right. So then in that case, do you make your way towards the alleyway?
Yep.
All right. In that case, Jean-Marie, you watch as Marsibil immediately like runs forward and then like immediately darts to the right, following into this alleyway. What do you want to do?
Hey Sam, I have a blowtorch.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
Can we do something with that?
I mean, maybe. Did we bring oil? Did we bring some kind of flammable liquid? Alcohol? Anything?
I'm assuming if we brought the blowtorch, we probably brought some.
Yeah, I
gasoline.
remember I remember on the first session you guys brought like either kerosene or gasoline for it, and I'm gonna say just for like
we absolutely brought gasoline with us. The question is, did we bring it? Did we take it off the boat?
I'm fairly sure we did.
I'll say since it's not that hard to bring with you guys, and it definitely would have helped with like making fires, I'll say that you did bring the blowtorch with you, and it is currently like 3/4 full.
Okay, let's see if we can lose them in the alleyway. If we can't, it's an alleyway. They'll be more together. Blowtorch.
Just light the thing on fire, or like leave a trail, and then once they're in the area, then just blowtorch it,
Yeah.
Put them in a trap.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna follow into the alleyway, and I'm gonna leave behind I'm gonna try to drop some gasoline on the floor.
All right. I'm gonna say that since you're currently running and you kind of like have this like backpack on you that like you have like your stuff in it. I'll say that you pull it out while you're making your way through this alleyway, and you're gonna like drop. You're just gonna drop some oil in the alleyway, not like all of it, right?
Yeah, I smell like fuel.
Okay. I'm not gonna make you roll a check for that. I'll say that.
Wait, no, hold on.
Mhm.
Is there another exit to this alleyway? Because I'm not blocking our only exit. Actually,
you can definitely see like openings through the alleyways. There's multiple openings to it. It's not like
we're fine.
It's not a one-way thing. And actually, just because I want you are running and you are like in the brink at the moment, roll me a general dexterity check to see if you can properly not drop the bottle itself of gasoline.
Guy, that's a 28.
28, then yeah, you successfully pour a good amount on this little like alleyway itself, leading up to this opening where you guys are in, and you successfully put back the cork in your backpack and just push it back in and zip it back up before you join Marsibil here. Is that? I suppose that's the. Well, yeah, it was your action to pour the oil down. Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, I'm gonna say the three contestants see you guys make your way into the alleyway, and they're gonna immediately follow, using their movement. Since they're gonna be making their way into like on soil that like was freshly poured with gasoline, and they weren't ready for it, I'm gonna make all three of them roll a dodge check in order to see if they don't fall on their ass. All right, that's a check. That's a success. That's a fail. and that's another success. As you guys watch, as they turn the corner and make their way in, one of them in the back was not particularly ready for the quick turn and the gasoline on the floor itself, and you watch as like they slip and fall face first on the ground, just prone and not able to get up. As the other two make their way through and are making their way through the alleyway. Marsibil, do you want to use your action now to break down the wall?
Yep.
All right. What are you using to break down the wall?
Gun.
Gun. All right. In that case, I'll say, because I know your firearms check is really low, and I don't want you to just keep continuously trying to do firearms checks and failing. Instead, I'm gonna spice it up a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, roll me an intelligence check.
Okay. Uh, 21.
21. You look immediately at the wall, trying to find any like weaknesses within the structure, and immediately it hits you as you see a very large crack that is on the bottom of where this wall is. And as you're looking up, you can see the building itself is, it kind of has like this archway kind of look for the alleyway, where the buildings itself seems to be connected to another building to the right. And if you shoot this this part, it might bring the rubble down on them. Do you shoot?
Okay. Yes.
All right. You shoot at this rubble, and bang! You watch as the bullet hits into the crack itself, and immediately you hear as you watch as the cracks themselves make their way onto the archway above them, and you watch as like they immediately look up towards it, and then this one of them like gives you this look of anger before they try to like reach out with a swipe, and as the rubble itself crashes down upon them, knowing the weight and the actual like impact itself, it does a shit ton of damage. All right, goddamn. All right, and both of you watch as this a dust kind of like heaps up immediately in the vicinity before you guys look down, and where that one contestant with the white clothing was about to reach you is just their arm crushed, lifeless, and a slow pool of blood emanating from the rubble. Congrats on getting out of that chase, guys.
Yeah.
Nice. Now burn it.
Yeah, I was thinking, I mean, why waste more fuel if you already got them?
Yeah, I guess. Doesn't leave anything behind, though.
I have matches.
Yeah.
I will throw a match.
All right.
I have waterproof matches. I can't repair it.
You
also,
did.
hey, we're making sure they don't come back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, knowing this kind of setting.
All right.
And if they come back, at least they'll be melted.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. They'll just be goop. They'll be Nickelodeon slime.
Ew.
But yeah, I'll say that you got you take out a match, Jean-Marie. You light it up, no problem. Throw it into the rubble itself, and you watch as the gas itself that was been poured lights it up, and slowly but surely catches fire to the flammable parts of the bodies of these people that tried to kill you. And I suppose you guys start making your way onwards.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll say that as you make your way, following down this path and bringing it eventually, still caressing like some parts of the beak itself, and making your way more south. I will say that while we're running away, both of you looked particularly towards like the northwest part of the beak, where like it was roughly much further away. You definitely saw something was covered in drapes, but you didn't really get the chance to really go explore it or go check it out at that point because you were being chased. But if you want, you guys could either continue on the trail that you're going right now, or go check out the thing that's covered in drapes.
Looking away is the better option, but I am nosy to a fault. What is in the drapes?
All right.
GM, what's under the drapes?
Wouldn't you like to know, Witter Boy?
Where are your parents?
I lost them at a young age.
Moving on.
But yeah, you two make your way towards the drapes to the north, going to see what's going on there. As you do so, I'll say that, like, from the commotion that has happened earlier, I'll say that you guys start sticking to the shadows again, and naturally you hear the sound of what seems to be some activity coming its way slowly but surely towards where there's gunfire and all that, but not trying to pay it any mind. You guys just keep going forward, making your way towards the drapes, and eventually, as you do so, you arrive in front of it. It seems that the drapes themselves are not incredibly covering something very large, but rather something that seems to be a part of all that is trying to be covered. Do you guys open up the drapes to see what's inside?
Yeah.
All right. I'll say, Jean-Marie, since you're particularly the nosy one, you open up the drapes to see what's behind. And as you do so, you see before you the most beautiful thing you could find in this very instant. Out of all the weird creatures and objects and stones and all the eldritch abominations and stuff like that you could have found, you finally find something that is human-made. And especially in this moment, it definitely, I don't know if it'll bring a smile to your face, but it definitely, like, comforts you in the fact that it's not something weird. You see in front of you a lost mine shaft that has caved in near the north, where it probably used to have more tunnels, but particularly in front of it are two carts that are filled to the brim with dynamite.
I know you cannot see my smile right now, but it is wide.
High explosives.
Marsibil, I believe I have just hit the jackpot. Oh, this is gonna make my life so much easier.
Perfect. This will make our jobs a lot easier.
And yeah.
I will
You
be
guys...
careful that the dynamite and the blowtorch are on different sides of the backpack. I don't want to blow us up.
Yeah, and I will say, I'll say, Jean-Marie, you kind of know this just because John has ranted about it at some point, and Marsibil, you especially know about it after, like, hearing, like, some work accidents from some of the people, like, you've been on cruise with. When dynamite has been in a wet, humid environment for a long period of time, the nitroglycerin that is inside of it can become more volatile. And if one wrong thing is done, could prove to be accidentally explosive.
Wouldn't it be so much funnier if instead of an eldritch abomination, we blow ourselves up with dynamite?
Activate the explosives! Give us a quick death!
Oh my god, that'd be really funny.
We face someone with a blowtorch like ours, and instead of running, we just stop and take all the dynamite out of our bags real quick.
Oh god.
Mm.
But yeah, do you guys approach it? Do you want to try taking some, or do you memorize this location and keep the rest of it for like a stash for later? What do you guys do?
I'm gonna at least take like a stick or two.
All right.
I'm taking 2 as well.
Yeah.
All right. I'll say the both of you take it, and you can add 1 stick of dynamite to your inventory, Marsibil, and 2 sticks of dynamite to your inventory, Jean-Marie.
All right.
But yeah,
Hard looking salad.
Oh god. At this moment, I'm kidding.
Distance.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'll say that as both of you take these sticks of dynamite, what is your plan now? Do you want to go somewhere in particular? Do you want to talk amongst yourselves? What are y'all doing?
And we gotta keep walking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But. Yeah, I think. Yeah, for now we'll keep walking. We still have to find Eddie.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In that case, I'll say you guys keep moving onwards.
Eddie Matthews.
And
not to be confused
Eddie
with
Matthews.
Dave Matthews of Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah, you guys actually. Yeah, what if you guys accidentally ran into Dave Matthews instead of Eddie Matthews?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I would be so. Can I get an autograph?
Oh my god, hell yeah.
Absolutely. No problem, sir, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I assumed your gender in 1939. But yeah, I'll say that you guys make your way more southwards in order to try to continue to find Eddie. And as you do so, I'll say at some point, as you guys are sneaking around, trying to find your way through, you eventually see it. You see this kind of like still standing building that is somewhat functional and kind of seems like it's been recently inhabited, and as you're kind of like in like right next to her, Jean-Marie, it's almost immediately that you see a very familiar person. Hair is much messier than you found it, but you can recognize it. The look of his clothes being that of like his familiar shirt that he used to wear on the day that he was kidnapped, now ripped apart and kind of like just around his torso, kind of like how you wrap a hoodie around your torso when it's really hot outside. You see his pants are ripped and bloodied, and there's a couple of bruises and spots on him, and his face is covered in bruises, and he's missing some teeth. But in front of you, taking out what seems to be this bucket of bloody water, is your husband John. And that's where we're going to end you two's little mini session.
All right.
As we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to go straight to the final recording.